Hey everyone, this is Roger from Backyard Bees and Garden. Let me do a quick walkabout and show you what I have going on. I'm outside with my German Shepherd. Thinks he's a big puppy. Wanna get the ball? Alright, let me get to the garden. Now I have done some work on the garden. I got some hoop tunnels going. My rhubarb's doing well. I have some more hoop tunnels down there and a couple of raised beds. I guess it's time to eat. I'll come back in a second. Alright, so I did some clearing because I like to grow vertically. I do have a pretty big area that I have fenced in because I get a lot of deer, but growing vertically increases my usable space by quite a bit. I have some onions and radishes and turnips planted here, which can be planted early before the end of the last frost, which hopefully is going to be by towards the end of April. I have some peas planted and I just made a trellis using some wood and bamboo and some string, and that'll grow straight up. That hasn't popped yet, but I do have the early snap peas in. Now I let my strawberries root so that I could spread them, and they definitely spread. They're everywhere, and I'm making them into rows instead. So I might get a couple of strawberries. I'm going to thin these so that I have one per foot, and I'll get some strawberries off of those, and then these will be my rows for next year that I'm working on. Let me show you my hoop tunnel. So I like to do a double hoop tunnel in early April because this way it's like a double greenhouse. And you can see we had snow last night, but let me open one of these up and show you what I have. So this is carrots, and see I have one layer of plastic with a hoop tunnel. These are just metal rings, and then I have my carrots growing, which they're doing really well for this time of year. There's a lot of heat in here. And then I have a second row of rings for the hoop tunnel here. Let me open up my peas, which this is like for salads. So these you pick when they're young. So I have a bunch planted, and you can see there's my peas. A lot of good heat in here. So these are just about ready to be harvested already for salads. And I'll do a video on how I set up my hoop tunnels, and you can get started growing early outside using this hoop tunnel. And I like to do the double hoop tunnel, especially when it's a little bit colder. Now if you like rhubarb, they are cold hardy, so these I have done nothing with, except you do want to take off the flowers, which I've already taken off the flowers right here, and more energy will be spent to the leaves. And if you see more flowers, I just break them off like you see in there. And these are ready to be eaten, and they're really good when they're young and tender like this. All right, there's my strawberries, and continuing on. Now this hoop tunnel has more carrots. I staggered so that I get more carrots. Let me show you this hoop tunnel. This is kale. This is dinosaur kale. So I did a double on this one as well. And there's my dinosaur kale. And that's already starting to get some extra leaves on it. It's growing really well. The other thing with these hoop tunnels you do have to make sure is that you keep them watered because they do get pretty warm. And yes, you do get condensation dripping back down, but it's not always 100% to keep the ground moist. And then this one I just had a single, because this was my last piece of plastic that I currently had. And in here I have just some small plants coming up.